Hi, welcome back to Morbid Sunshine. I'll turn this around so you can see me. I thought because we've been talking a lot of heavy stuff and same topic all the time, I thought today we could have a look at the Chad Daybell Laurie Vallow case. And some of his writings are quite ridiculous to read sometimes. And I found one before, and I just wish to share it with you. He's just so transparent because recently I've been reading his letters. Has anyone seen those? Don't want to bore you to death. So I'll read this out to you. This is what he wrote. As I See It by Chad Daybell. Moving into the second half of my life, my dear wife Tammy passed away in her sleep early Saturday, October 19th. When I woke at around 6 a.m, it was clear she had been gone for several hours. I came as a shock. I couldn't believe I hadn't been awakened somehow, but all indications are that her spirit simply slipped away during the night. Her face looked serene, with her eyes closed and a slight smile. It was devastating to discover that way, but I'm so grateful that her death was peaceful. Tammy was the anchor of our family and our publishing business. We have worked side by side from the moment we were married in Mante Temple in 1990. It is safe to say I never would have become an author without her faith in me and her constant encouragement. She was simply a really good wife to him, dedicated wife, I'd say. Tammy herself wasn't a visionary woman, but she believed what I told her and trusted my decisions, speaks a narcissist. She often said that she felt like Lehi's wife, Sarah, in the Book of Mormon, where her faith was often tested, by the unexpected twists and turns of our lives. But she was grateful when the Lord would fulfill the promises that had been made regarding our family. She had a brilliant mind, especially when it came to computers. She wore so many hats in our company, from being chief financial officer, just basically funding his hobby, to operating our websites, to designing book covers. I'm still sorting out how I'm going to cope with this tremendous loss. But thankfully, I have a son whose mind works like Tammy's, and we'll be able to muddle through these tasks, although not as efficiently as she did. Stepping into the future, Tammy conveyed to me several messages and I'm in the process of eliminating what she had told me to do. She has indicated that my life has two parts that were planned even before I came to Earth. She was meant to. A sort of heartless, emotionless response from him. I think I just find Chad Daybell one of the most arrogant, despicable creatures of the land. He's responsible for 4 deaths in my eyes. It's just so convenient how Alex died as well. All I'm about to research is thanks to difficult research. Her name's Cretia. She was a sister of Charles Vallow. And JJ was very close to his grandparents, very close. She brought him up for 18 months or so before Laurie Vallow adopted him. I really am heart touched by the story of the family, especially on the Woodcock side, because it feels like they have a lot more to substantiate things and look into things. There's no ignorance, about religion. I hope you can hear me. There's no ignorance about the religion. It is what it is, Laurie Vallow believed that the world was going to end, or something on those lines, of the Mormon faith. They were preppers as well, lived in Idaho. It's got them all, yeah. And I'm going to go through everything because I feel like, yes, we didn't, but I haven't heard anything from the Alex side of things, and it would be interesting to go through that. So this is from Phoenix. Incidents. Okay. Persons present at the examination: Ryan Pillar and Nolan McDermott. Federal Bureau, so it's the FBI, Carrie Cooper. Cause of death, contribution cause of death, and manner of death natural. And this is must be Alex's findings of what actually happened to him. Basically, the findings were a bilateral pulmonary from Baron. Okay, that word is just... Let's see what that is. If I can friggin' remember. Hang on. Just write it down, Emma. Yeah, let's go through. Multiple liver cavernous hemangiomas, gastric polyp, nobular prostatic hypertrophy, toxology report as negative. Hope you heard me. According to the investigation, the history has available to me and that provided by the detectives at the time of the examination. The descendant was reportedly complaining of chest pains and shortness of breath for approximately 1 week prior to being found unresponsive in his bathroom floor on the 12th of the 12th in 2019. He was transported to a local hospital where death was pronounced shortly after arrival. According to his wife, the descendant had no past medical history and was not taking routine medication. The shortness of breath since Friday, 6 days he was out of breath. Law enforcement also relayed that they have an open investigation involving the descendants. Based on the autopsy findings, the investigation history as available to me, it is my opinion that Alexander Lamar, 51, died as a result of a bilateral pulmonary thromboemboli with contributory factors of ulcerous, sclerotic and hypertensive cardiovascular disease. The manner of death is natural. The body received in a zip bag and sealed. The descendants received with personal property outlined in the property inventory. Hi, I hope everyone's well. I hope you want to know more about the paperwork and the investigation. I'm waiting to find any type of interviews yet. I haven't discovered any yet. So I'll be looking and keeping an eye out for this. I'm just going to go on another Chrome. Now, what I find humorous is how his daughter looks like Laurie Vallow at the minute. And she's putting the information online. I just find it very peculiar relationship that she has with her father. And a very, very unforgivable attitude she has towards her mother. And I just don't know if many of you have watched it before, and I thought we'd watch it together.
Who's the witness going to be?
Emma Murray, Judge.
Very well. We'll go ahead and have the witness brought in, please.
I might go off camera for a second because I don't want to miss this, because I just want to get my coffee.
Thank you.
May I, Judge?
Yeah, before we get started, I was just sitting here considering whether or not the exclusionary rule applies to this witness, and I don't believe it does. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge, but in the issue of precaution, my subpoenas stated that nobody was to observe any of the proceedings, and I will inquire Ms. Murray as to whether she observed any of the proceedings anyway, Judge.
Okay. I think it's just fair on questioning for examination on Director Cross, but I won't make any inquiry on the exclusionary order. So with that, I'll just remind the witness then you are under oath for your testimony. You can inquire on direct if you'd like, Mr. Pryor.
Would you state your name, spell your last name for the record for me, please?
Emma Murray, Murray.
And Emma, there's a gentleman to my left in a blue shirt at the desk over there. Do you recognize who that is?
Yes, that's my father.
Now, I noticed that your last name is Murray. Can you explain that to me, please?
I was married and changed my name.
You are married?
Yes, I'm married.
And your husband is Joseph Murray?
Yes.
Did you receive a subpoena from either the prosecutor or the defense in this particular case?
I received a subpoena from both.
And at no point you were called for the prosecution, is that correct?
I was not.
And you did receive a subpoena from my office to appear as well?
I did.
And in that subpoena, did it indicate that we would rather you not view the proceedings as part of this, as part of your testimony in this case?
Yes, and I did not.
I want to talk a little bit about how often we've had an occasion to talk about this case, you and I. And can you explain to the jury how often we've spoken about this case?
I've talked to John maybe 3 times.
And last night we met prior to your testimony today.
That's correct.
At any time did I indicate to you any way you're supposed to say, or anything that you should say or were supposed to say as part of your testimony?
Like, you told me just to tell the truth.
Okay, you're prepared to tell the truth today.
I am.
I want to talk a little bit about where you're living right now. And where do you live right now?
I live in the house that was my parents'.
Okay. And at this point, you're not aware of any financial situation. Is it true that you're not aware of any financial situation between myself and your father regarding that house?
That's correct.
And you don't have any personal knowledge of anything that is any arrangement between your father and I, is that correct?
Yeah, I made an arrangement with my father. I don't know what he's decided to do.
I want to talk a little bit about your mother's health. What can you tell me in general about your mother's health in the last year or so?
Her health started declining. I was really worried about it. She'd always been one to...
She was a very fit person. She always went running. She had a Fitbit thing. She didn't smoke. She was only young. And her daughter's saying that she was ill. And the thing is, I feel for people's daughters in this situation, a bit like the human case, right? She probably felt she knew for a while there was something wrong, right? Deep down, I think it's that. But, and with Emma, she's thrown in this situation where her mother is her father's killed her mother or suffocated her. It was either him or Alex Cox. And it was proven to be so. And she's going along to save her dad's back, really, because he does get the death penalty. I think Chad Daybell did get the death penalty after his performance and how he ruined these child lives, And naturally.
Meet the demands of daily life without being exhausted. And she started going to bed before dinner some nights. It would be like 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night. And she would sleep in too if given the opportunity. So suddenly needing to sleep a lot was very confusing to me.
Are you aware of any health issues that your mother may or may not have had?
I, at the time, was not. Since her passing, I've been diagnosed with sleep apnea, and my maternal grandfather also has sleep apnea, and she's the generational link between, so I wonder if she did. That's something that obviously we can't investigate at this time, but symptoms like daytime tiredness and not getting restful sleep seem like they would fit what...
Were you aware of any other health maladies that your mother may have suffered from?
She had anemia.
Were you aware of any medications that your mother may have taken?
She preferred herbal supplements. She did take the generic form of the medication Prozac. That was the only prescribed medication that...
I'm not surprised having a husband who makes her walk behind him.
She regularly took.
Were there any non-prescription medications or herbs or supplements that you're aware of?
Oh, definitely. She really liked using colloidal silver was her favorite. It's...
Slow down for me. Colloidal silver?
Colloidal silver. It's distilled water with particles of silver in it to the part per million. It tastes like you're drinking water out of a metal water bottle, and it can cure everything. I say that with a smile because you really should go to the doctor instead of drinking. Else for speculation.
Okay.
She would use colloidal silver as an antiviral, is what she called it. So anytime she felt under the weather, she would take colloidal silver and she would... This calls for hearsay. I witnessed her...
It's clear she's lying,
people in our household to do so.
Were you a consumer of colloidal silver?
I was.
Okay. How'd that work for you?
tastes nasty.
Okay. Did it help you in curing any ailments that you may have had?
I don't know.
Were there other things that your mother did in terms of remedies to resolve other issues she may have had?
She bruised really easily, and she used arnica gel.
Okay.
Arnica is a plant that helps with bruising. She had it in gel form.
When you say she bruised easily, can you elaborate on that?
If she were to bump her hip on the counter when she was walking by, she would get a massive bruise from that. Even things like carrying a heavier load of groceries where the bag pressed on her arm would leave a bruise.
Okay. I want to go to the date of October 18th of 2019. Do you recall that day?
Yes.
Okay, and on the 18th, you were, and before I get there, your mother was employed at a school, is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, in terms of the physical size of that school, can you describe the physical size of that elementary school for me, please?
This was a smaller elementary school built in a rural area. The area is growing, but the school is still small. Right now it houses 3 grades.
Okay. So if there was discussion about having to travel within the school, would that be a significant distance that you would have to travel within this school?
No, I was also employed there at the time, and it was not a hassle to walk from one side of the building to the other.
Okay. And at the time, I'm going to go back to October 18th. And on the 18th, was there some sort of an event or occurrence that was taking place at the school?
The next week, there was going to be a book fair. It was going to be held in the library where my mom worked, and she needed to prepare her workspace to become a store. The community was going to be coming in and buying books, so she wanted to move her personal items and personal books so that way they wouldn't get sold or stolen.
And in terms of distance from in this small school you described, how far was your classroom to where your mother's library was?
There were 2 different locations where she would work. One was a computer lab that was right next to my classroom. Some people didn't know that, but they shared a wall. You would have to walk around the corner for the entryway, but I could hear her teaching and she could hear me. Her library was just the next hallway over. It was hardly a walk.
When you say hardly a walk, do you encompass miles?
No.
Feet?
Feet.
Okay. Now, in terms of interaction with other members of the school, how would you describe your mother's personality?
My mother was an introvert at the core. She could be friendly and small talk with people, but in general, I noticed she didn't confide in people. I also observed at that school, we, like many public schools, needed a lot more employees than we had. So
I'm sorry about this. I just want to read out Melanie Pulowski's
she really didn't have time to visit, even during lunchtime when you would.
Sorry about that. Right, I wanted to read out Melanie Polanski's statements about the children, when they went missing. Where have I put it? There it is. Right? Strongly denied any whereabouts of those children. She was going to basically do the same, Melanie Pulowski speaks out. Melanie Pulowski does not know the whereabouts of her aunt's children. Brendan Boudreau lies to wrongfully influence the child custody case. Media irresponsibly reports one-sided and unsubstantiated accusations. Brandon Boudreau hides his own family's dark secrets and sinister acts and the past. MESA, February 26 of 2020, Miss Pulowski, represented by Robert Jarvis and Garrett Smith of the law force of Robert Jarvis, strenuously denies the innuendos and allegations that she knew the whereabouts of the missing Vallow kids and that she has been involved in any wrongdoing. Mr. Jarvis states that Miss Pawlowski has cooperated with the law enforcement, including meeting for hours with the FBI on 3 separate days. As she told the FBI, Melanie Pawlowski does not know the whereabouts. I think she did. Miss Pawlowski cooperated with the law enforcement, including meeting for hours with the FBI, blah blah. Brandon Bordeaux has a history of victimizing women, which is probably an extension of his use of extreme dark pornography. Seriously, girl. Honestly. Dear me. Brandon has a history of victimizing women, which is probably an extension of his use of that porn. Attorney Garrett Smith added. Mr. Smith continued. Melanie confronted Brandon in June because he took her children off her because he had a suspicion that something was going to happen. And it did, she knew where those kids were. Sorry. He carried through with his threats and by lying in court documents. Sadly and irresponsibly, much of the media has quoted Brandon Bordeaux biased, vindictive, and can take custody of Melanie's children. Vindictive and fake accusations as truth and fact when they are his resentful, vengeful, and dishonest efforts to get full custody of Melanie's children. Brandon Bordeaux deceptively took Melanie's children out of state and kept them unlawfully. Melanie was the stable parent in the children's lives, while Brandon Bordeaux travelled for weeks and was rarely seen. Everyone needs to know and remember, Mr. Jarvis said. Brandon Bordeaux has unlawfully kept Melanie's children out of Arizona in violation of the court order, or so has her auntie. Why should one person get away with it and not another? I'm reading these out, by the way, because I know they've probably been read out before, but I wish to have a look myself, and I just thought I'd read them out. I'm not trying to take this on because I'll be honest, there's so many good channels who deal with the Lori Vallow case, but I don't know much about it. I've watched a lot about it, I think, but I don't know the court details, I've known everything through analytics and difficult research. I don't watch hidden true crime. I like the documentary on the interview with Chad Daybell's sister-in-law. That was a brilliant video. I mean, they do great interviews, and I know it's a bit sour at the minute on there, but things will calm down in the end, and it's just to put it at rest now and just, these things are probably out there now. You know, it's not. I've no idea. But Brandon Boudreau, I feel for him. He had to. One minute he's married to a woman, he's got kids, and his life's going great for him. And Chad Daybell gets involved, and they start a cult. It just seems like. Don't get me wrong, they knew Chad longer than they're stating. I just feel that they did, in some respects, probably writing to him, probably video chats, you know, I don't know, but it feels like it comes to a point where they were just eliminating anyone they just didn't agree with, you know, including Laurie Vallow's 2 children, so it's a shocking case. And I don't want to be one of them channels that just cover one case, you know what I mean. I was looking at Thankyou Cox's just before, wasn't we? You know, I just wish that I didn't get so much resentful bitterness towards me. I get a lot of shit. And it's getting away where I'm getting a bit annoyed with it, but I've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't I? Let's just get off this. I don't want everyone knowing my business. Oh, what's that? Sorry about this. You know, I've not seen any police interviews with Chad Daybell yet, or anything. You know, probable cause affidavit would be good to read. Yeah, I'll do that for us. I never realised that there's so many sections to. I love how law works in America. There's a lot more free language, free speech, sensibility in the laws. There's some areas that get away with too much, but I find it's a lot more stable than ours, you know. Oh, love, move out the way, I'm hitting you. Love, go over there. Go over there. But, you know, I have been getting some lovely comments, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to answer them. It's for legal reasons. I really do have to be careful about what I do on here. I don't want to come across as I'm earning something from it either. I'll be honest, you know, yes, that's what you start a YouTube channel for. But it seems like with me, I just get kind of carried into a spell of looking into something. I'm not like obsessed over something, you know what I mean, like the human case. There's been so much misinformation. I can't be liable, I can't be responsible for every bit of information that's out there. I'm just providing you with the information. If you wish, I do believe that, like, if anyone's willing to talk to me, I would tell you now, by now, wouldn't I? No one's talked to me. I've asked people, okay? I've got addresses, you know, I've got numbers, but email addresses, and I do ask if they wish to talk to me. You know, sometimes you get a lovely response, but one person I haven't contacted is John Ray, and the reason is I don't know why people. Is there something that he's doing this? Why he's, I don't know. I mean, is Shannon the cause of this reason? Is it just like they want to create awareness about what's happening, how many girls have gone? Because you just really have to focus on the fact that, like, there's other possibilities here, and it could be that the human weren't responsible for those two girls, two of them, 11. So what does that mean? I heard that I've seen online that nine he's going to get, like, but the Rexburg Police Department, I currently hold advanced certificates in management and whatever. Right, we'll skip that bit. I respectfully ask the court to take notice of PC affidavit Madison County Court case number, and it's got the court number if you want to look it up. And I'm sorry about that. A copy of which has been attached. Okay. Since November 26th of 29, the Rexburg Police Department have been involved in the search for JJ Vallow. Date of birth the 5th of the 25th, 2012. And Tylee Ryan, date of birth of the 9th, 24 of 2002. So there's 10 years age difference between them both, Same as me as my sister. The minor children's mother, Laurie Vallow, has been charged with 2 felony counts of desertion of a minor child and 1 misdemeanor count of resistance and obstruction, 1 misdemeanor count of solicitation to commit a crime, and 1 misdemeanor count of contempt. The contempt charge is for failing to comply with the order in a child protection action in Madison County, Idaho, to produce JJ and Tylee to the Rexburg Police Department of Health and Welfare. She was required to produce the children by January 30th of 2020. Tylee was 17 at the time she went missing with JJ. JJ was 7 when he went missing. Chad Daybell was present in Kauai, Hawaii in February 20th. I didn't know it was that late they found him. 2020, when Laurie Vallow was arrested on the felony desertion charges. I was present at that arrest. Daybell was also present at the 6th of March initial appearance in Madison County, Idaho. As such, I know that Chad Daybell was unaware of the felony charges directly related to the location, health and well-being of a minor children named above. Since November 26th of 2019, the Rexburg Police Department, along with the FBI, have been investigating the location and whereabouts of these 2 minor children. The last verifiable sighting of Tylee Ryan was on September 8th of 2019 in Yellowstone National Park. The last verifiable sighting of JJ Vallow was September 20th, 2019 in his mother's apartment in Rexburg police and FBI received many tips of alleged sightings since beginning of the case, and none of these tips have led to the verifiable or actionable information regarding the health and safety of the location of the two minor children. Laurie Vallow moved to Rexburg on or about September 1st of 2019 with her children, Tylee, Ryan and JJ Vallow, and her brother, Alan Cox. I find this really scary because the children just didn't. I felt it was like a sacrifice for something that they believed in. I believe, and thanks to Jasmine Noir, that he was found with like 3 like type of different stones, you know, like, and in the book of Jonathan Smith or whatever, that's how they buried him, or whatever, they buried the gifts, the money, I think they bury stuff, and they always put these certain type of stones on them, and I've always wondered what these stones look like. Yeah, do feel it was deliberate and violent. They both suffered very badly. Laurie Vallow moved to Rexburg on the 1st of September 2019 with Alex Cox and the children. Laurie resided with her children at that place where she rented a flat. Laurie resided with her children, and it's telling me the address. So, living in the same unit. See, they were all living next to Laurie. Laurie on the middle, then her sister, a cousin on the next one, Melanie Pudrow, and then Alex Cox next door to her. So I think they were murdered in either one. I think with Alex Cox being part of it as well. The evidence was damning, and we can go through each part of what we find, and it just gives a refreshing look back on the people around them. Melanie Gibb must have knew. I just do believe that they knew, and it just, the court appearance didn't convince me at all. So I find it like calling children zombies and that, and they had to be eliminated, and it's a real dark story. And when I was listening to difficult research or analytics, they may have their disagreements, but one thing's for sure, this case has really scarred them, and it's so sad to see that the pain that Laurie's caused, she can't understand. She's still in that land with Chad. It's so awful for the family. I don't understand anyone who's writing to her. I don't understand why her son has anything to do with her. I really don't get it. But I suppose you've got to put yourself in that position. What do? Do you stop speaking to your parents? Would you do that yourself? I'm just talking. Laurie's close friend Melanie Gibb was cooperated with the Idaho and Arizona law enforcement regarding the investigation of the children. Now she knew where them children were. They give her anonymity, it's called, right, where you tell the officer, oh please don't, because they threaten them with the charge. If you're hiding a child, there's a big charge for that. So they threatened her, you had to record this conversation. And that's what happened, really. But Melanie Gibb doesn't want to tell the public that. And it's so disparaging to the honour of them children. Just is. Gibb reports that when she arrived in Rexburg, Laurie Vallow informed her that J.J. Vallow had become a zombie. Gibb further reports that the term zombie refers to individuals with mortal spirit, has left their body, and that their body is now the host of another spirit. The new spirit in a zombie is always considered a dark spirit. While the dark spirit inhabits the host body, the person's true spirit goes into limbo, and it is struck there until the host body is physically killed. As such, death of the physical body is seen as the mechanism by which the body's original spirit can be released from limbo. It's fucked up. This belief was told to Gibb by Vallow. Vallow had learned this from Chad and immediately told Gibb. Gibb was present with Vallow when Chad first told Laurie this information over the phone in early 2019 in reference to Charles Vallow. That's Creisha's brother from Difficult Research. She does excellent work. You really, if you're into the case, go and have a look through her stuff, especially the early stuff she got. You know, she recovered a lot of information. And I reckon hidden true crime were the things that Creisha learnt me how to look into things and, you know, do things without having to ask someone loads of questions, you know. So really, sometimes as a YouTuber, people seem to don't value that you're taking the time out. And I mean, I'm not getting paid for this, but to go and then sort of cause chaos or talk about me in a negative fashion, I've got to ask myself, what's the matter with you for that? You know, why watch my content but you can't be asked putting a like? You know, it's just like, wow. You know, this arose out of Laurie requiring, but I had anyway, you know, Tylee to babysit JJ, and Tylee did not want to. Laurie Vallow also told Gibb that Tylee had turned into a zombie when she was 12 and 13, which was approximately the same time Tylee had become difficult to deal with. Evil. Melanie Gibb has further informed me that she was told by Chad Daybell and Laurie that they held the religious belief that they were part of the Church of the Firstborn, and their mission in the church was to lead the 144,000 mentioned in the book of the Revelation. They also stated their mission was to rid the world of zombies. On July 26, 2020, a search warrant was served on Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow in QI, where they were living on their vehicle. The children were not found with Chad or Laurie in Hawaii, and no evidence found to suggest they were living in Chad with Chad and Laurie. This is where it goes all wrong for them then, you see. Get caught sunbathing, you know. Chad with his fat belly. You know, ew. Chad. Disgusts me. He's just got a weird, funny, melty face, hasn't he? Taking my shoes off. Oh, hope everyone's going to have a nice Halloween with Friday this year. It's brilliant. do love Halloween. I have to still take my daughter trick-or-treating, 14 she is. She just loves it. She counts the days to the next Halloween. Oh, it's a nightmare. Through the investigation, we have discovered that Laurie Vallow was registered at Kennedy Sorry, we skipped a bit? No, sorry, we're up to 12, aren't we? Through this investigation, we have discovered that J.J. Vallow was registered at Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg the first week of September of 2019. The school was informed that J.J. had an individual education plan due to his autism. Kennedy Elementary was in the process of creating a new IEP for JJ. On September 23rd of 2019, JJ had an excused absence. On September 24, 2020, Laurie Vallow called Vicky Barton of Madison School District and informed her that JJ was going to Louisiana with his grandparents and wouldn't be home until the end of October and maybe later. On October 29th, Madison School District was informed that JJ would be homeschooled. During searches of Laurie's apartments in Rexburg, subsequent to searches of her apartment in QI, no evidence of homeschooling material was ever found. No other school district has ever requested JJ's records from the Madison School District. So this was all planned, you know. Sad but true. As mentioned, the last variable sighting of Tyler Ryan was in Yellowstone Park. On September 8th of 2019, photographs established she was there with her mother Laurie Vallow and her brother J.J. Vallow and her uncle Alex Cox. They drove there in Alex's silver Ford F-150. This trip was further established by tracking the GPS cell tower connections and Google account information on Alex Cox's phone. This is how they do it, you see. This is how they trace people. And that's what would have happened in the Koberger case, you know, if it went to court. But because it hasn't gone to court, people are making all kinds up, and it's going on my nerves now. He's clearly guilty. He probably did it with someone, but he's not going to talk. I just feel that it was over something, a drug. It could be over drugs, but he got involved with something, and I don't know. The Cellular Analyst Survey Team cast. It's the best thing I've ever seen. This system is amazing. As an FBI unit, they did an amazing case, I think, on this. I really do. but it did take so long to get knowledge of where, 6 months, 8 months. And as an FBI unit that provides analysts and cell phone records and presents information to law enforcement, CAST has analysed Alex's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. The CAST analyst provides the location of Alex's phone. Laurie mustn't have had her phone on and took her away, and that's why there's so little photographs. I mean, Yellowstone's beautiful, isn't it? So sad. How can you go from doing something like that with your daughter to then just, doesn't she have any remorse? I'd love to know and ask her some questions myself, you know. Not about so much her feelings, but the loss. Was it worth it, really? The FBI unit provides analysts cell phone records and presents the information to law enforcement. CAST has analysed Alex's phone and provided the location information mentioned in paragraph 13. Well, yeah, you said that. I'm so sorry. The CAST analyst provides the location of Alex's phone. Due to my training and experience, the common knowledge I am aware of that most individuals now keep their cell phones with them at all times, and the location and individual's phone can be used to establish the location of the owner of the phone. CAST uses the cellular device GPS data points and cell phone tower connections and Wi-Fi connections and Google tracking information established in the location of the cell phone. The GPS data points to use CAST and considers to be the highest accurate place and device within 6 meter radius. CAST has further informed law enforcement that Cox's cell phone exited the west entrance of Yellowstone National Park at 6 p.m. 6:40 at night. His phone appeared to be at Buckaroo's Barbecue and Grill in West Yellowstone, Montana from 6:45 p.m. to 7 p.m. Alex's then returns to Rexburg approximately 8:30 at half 8 at night. The phone is then at Laurie's apartment number until 9:30 at night, at which time Alex appeared to go to the Maverick on Main Street in Rexburg at 9:43 p.m. until 9:53 p.m. Alex then westbound back to Laurie's apartment from 10:45 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. At 11:44 p.m. Alex is located at the residence apartment 107 next door. On Monday, September 9th, from 12 midnight and 12:44, Alex's phone was located at his apartment. However, at 2:42 a.m. to 3:37 a.m, Alex is located again in Laurie's apartment, where Laurie lived with Tylee and JJ. This is significant not only because he is there in the middle of the night, but also because this is the only time in September he appears to go over 2 lorries between midnight and 6 a.m. At 4:37 a.m., Alex went back to his apartment in Unit 107 until 8:59 p.m. At 9:21, he was located at property with the address 202 north of Rexburg, which is the residence of Chad Daybell. So he was located at Chad Daybell. So, okay, at 4:37, Alex went back to his own apartment, unit, whatever, and then he went to Chad's at 9 p.m., past 9. His location was there. It should be noted that while Chad Daybell's address is listed in Rexburg, it is actually located in Vermont County, Idaho. At 9:21 a.m. reading is a GPS data point and places him behind the home of Chad Daybell's property near the east end of the barn. Just give me a second, please, guys. Sorry. They don't state what car he used. Did he use Tylee's car? Did he use his car? It's not mentioned. Alex Cox's phone was still at Daybell's residence. Hang on. So let's go through this. So Alex goes to his apartment. At 4 in the morning, but he's in and out this apartment at times, and they can register it there. But there's a gap, isn't there? There's a clear gap. And the way, like David said, I woke up from a nasty, evil nightmare, and he felt so bad, he was crying and things like that. He must have heard it. He must have heard something in the middle of the night. I think it was around 4 in the morning he did something to Tylee. He might have sort of hurt her already, or she was drugged or whatever, and then he went to Chad Daybell's with her at 9:20 in one of the cars, either the the GPS on Tylee's car gave it away. I have no idea. But he's at the back of the property, and at the back of property there's like a little stream of water going back. So it would have been probably a case of disposing of Tylee there and then bringing it to the property, which I find, I don't know, it's just evil. Alex Cox's phone was still at Daybell's residence at 10:40 a.m. At 10:47, about 8 minutes later, his phone shows a hit of City of St. Anthony. So behind his property at 9:20, he was behind his property, yeah? And then his phone pings again at 10:50. So he's had like over an hour and 20 minutes at Chad Daybell's that day. But he has the surprise to not mention the car, because that's what I wanted to know. You know what I mean? Did they take Tyler's car? Did they take his car? At this time, we are unable to tell if he was usually inside the city limits of St. Anthony. St. Anthony is about a 5-minute drive from Daybell's residence. Or if this was a cell tower ping on his phone while he was still at the Daybell Rock property at 10:57 to 11:39 a.m. Cox is located at the Daybell property. At 11:52 to 12:02. He was at Del Taco in Rexburg. He appears to spend most of the rest of the day in his apartment. So he's clearing up after what he's done, yeah? Through this investigation, the Rexburg Police Department and the FBI seized, searched and analysed multiple cellular devices pursuant to several warrants. On June 1st, did they take the car? Did they take Tyler's car? They should have. On June 1st, 2020, I was informed by Special Agent Ricky Rice of the FBI that FBI has been examining a phone believed to be owned by Tamara Daybell. Tammy was Chad Daybell's wife and died in October 2019. FBI found text conversation between Tammy and her husband Chad Daybell on September 9th, right, 2019, which is the day after the last known sighting of Tyler Ryan in Yellowstone. The text conversation reads as follows. A. Chad to Tammy at 11:53. So this is after Alex has gone, right? I've had an interesting morning. I felt I should burn all the limb debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked by the coming storm. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. B. Chad to Tammy. I'm going to shower now and then go right for a while at the BYU. I love you. Tammy to Chad at 2:47. Good for you. Doesn't sound very loving, does it? Chad to Tammy. I'm back home now. I'm going to say something very controversial about Tammy. I think Tammy knew to a degree what was going on, but just turned a blind eye to it. This is like the Stockholm Syndrome, this where it gets dangerous, where you're sort of in love with them, so you just see all the good, and you don't see like the capability of the proper problem, you know. That to me is telling me everything. It's saying, right, I should burn all of the debris by the fire pit before it got too soaked in this coming storm. While I did so, I spotted a big raccoon along the fence. I hurried and got my gun, and he was still walking along. I got close enough that one shot did the trick. He is now in our pet cemetery. Fun times. Now, to me, Tammy knew something was going on, right? He's killing the raccoon. That's in daylight, by the way, so raccoons don't come out in the daylight, they come out at night. Chad to Tammy at 2:48 p.m. I'm back home now. 21. I found the text suspicious because raccoons are normally nocturnal animals and are not regularly out during the day. It should be noted that from interviewing neighbours of Chad Daybell, we are aware that in mid-July of 2019, Garth Daybell, Chad's son, told their neighbours that Chad had shot a raccoon out of the tree in their property during the day. Those neighbours are named Matt and Regan Price. Garth told Mr. Price about the raccoon, and in response to a question from Matt about hearing a gunshot. Gosh, I don't know what happened to Tylee. Price informed me that the fire pit in the back of the Daybell property was hardly ever used until the last few months. Regan informed me, so this is mid-July when they find out about the baby being buried, and JJ and Tylee, sorry. Regan informed me that there appeared to be frequent bonfires in the pit on the Daybell property over the last few months, and the first one she noticed was soon after Tammy's death in October of 2019. On June 2nd of 2020, Detective Bruce Mattingly of Fairmount County Sheriff's Department contacted Samantha Williams, who is the sister of Tammy Daybell. He asked her if she was aware of a pet cemetery on the Daybell property in Idaho. She informed him that she was aware of a pet cemetery and stated that both Tammy and she were pet people and that they had both had pet cemeteries. Suppose you got a big property, you know. When asked about the location of the pet cemetery on Chad Daybell's property, she stated that it was east of the Red Barn and near the fire pit. So that's where he was that day, where the ping picked up at 10 at the back of the barn. On June 4th, 2020, I spoke with Samantha and she informed me that she was aware of the location of the pet cemetery on the Daybell property because Tammy had shown it to her. Samantha was then shown an aerial photograph of the Daybell property, and she pointed to the same area near the fire pit where Alex Cox's phone pinged on September 9th of 2019. The above facts established that Alex Cox appeared to be at the Daybell property on September 9th of 2019 until at least 11:39 p.m. Chad sent the text to Tammy about burning debris and shooting and burying the raccoon in the pet cemetery only 14 minutes later at 11:53. The pet cemetery referenced by Chad Daybell is located at the same location as most of the pings on Alex's phone on the 9th of September. On June 3rd, 2020, I interviewed Melanie Gibbs' boyfriend, David Warwick. We discussed in depth the weekend of the 22nd and the 23rd of 2019, due to the fact that both Gibb and Warwick stayed at Laurie Vallow's residence in Rexburg that weekend. Gibb informed me, in brackets, consistent with the information she had previously given to law enforcement, that she arrived in Rexburg on the September 19th of 2019. Soon after she arrived, Laurie Vallow informed Gibb and JJ had become a zombie and pointed out their behaviours, such as sitting still and watching TV. You know, give an example, because he's sitting there watching TV and he's autistic, he must be the devil. Claiming JJ said he loved Satan. And an increased vocabulary as evidence that JJ was now a zombie. Gibb observed JJ's behaviour and felt it to be the same as she had always observed. The last time Gibb and Warwick verifiably saw JJ was the night of September 22nd of 2019. Warwick informed us that it was late and that Gibb and Vallow and Warwick were going to do a podcast. Warwick said that JJ was acting up, and so Alex Cox took JJ to his apartment in his complex. When Alex returned later that night, he was carrying JJ, who appeared to be asleep, with his head on Alex's shoulder. Warwick specifically remembered this because he saw it as a tender moment. Warwick further informed us that when he woke up on the morning of September 23rd, he asked Laurie where JJ was. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Laurie informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen cabinetry and gotten on top of the cabinetry in the space between the cabinetry and the ceiling. She informed Warwick and Gibb that when JJ had climbed upon the cabinetry, that he had knocked a picture of Jesus off the refrigerator. Vallow then informed Warwick and Gibb that Alex had came and taken JJ. It's a lot of reading in it, guys. You know, I try and keep going as long as I can, but I'm just going to have a coffee or something. I've had a hectic day. It'd be good to read Brian Koberger's. I'm going to put some lipstick on. I look really pale. Sorry. I've got used to now realising which documents are what. You know, at first I was really bad. I'm thinking of going and looking up the interview with Chad's ex sister-in-law, and if I can just play the audio, just to get around the copyright, and because as I say, it was a really good interview, and I think it's really difficult being a creator, and they think, oh, I'm just a scumbag because I haven't got 1 million followers yet. Yes. Right. But that's my confidence for you, I'm not one of them people who pull people when they're down, but she's got to learn to take people speak for their mind now. I've had to cope with so much myself like that, and I know how difficult it can get. But you've got to sort of take the rough with the smooth with doing this, really. I try and not look at my comments if I can, on Reddit. On here I do, but places like that, because it's just a nightmare, it is. I don't look now. I'm just not going to look anymore, which is a shame, because there is some excellent people on it. People just bully all day, just wow, can't stop yourself. Got a police helicopter outside my house, I hope it's not for me. Oh, probably is. Imagine that if I got arrested in front of you all. Because I've been putting information out, apparently it's against the law. But more sort of objective in the sense where I'd like to see documents to say, but a lot proves to the fact that it could be a certain person. And when you're in that situation, I do feel scared for myself. And I don't want someone's death on my hands, either way, because I'm quite a Christian person in a way. I do think with honour. I don't you see, if something happens to someone, that's for them to sort out. You've got to learn what to put first in your life. And if going on TikTok after doing a serious offence like that, it's not going to help your life. It's not going to help the people around either. You're just saying fuck it to everyone to do it, But I'm sorry for talking like me little world of my own. But I sort of feel that a lot more, needless to say, a lot more needs to be held responsible for the information that's out there. If there's too much information that is BS, then please, do something about it. Stop having it. It's going wild. It's like the Wild West. I just don't like TikTok, as an app. I've got over 1,000 followers on it. 1,500. I've got only 35, and I love it's hard to get subscribers on here, where on TikTok, you can put one first trap up, you get loads of views. I used to do something silly. I used to be a fuck goddess. I was, Findom, and you don't show anything, you just be more suggestive, and it's quirky. You got to be smart with it. But you know, I got judged for that, you know, and I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, live a bit, you know. You can't get to grips with someone like who's done that in the past, and also it's got to do with anyone else. I mean, that's my only skeleton in my closet, and if you look on my TikTok, you might find the odd one, if you're lucky. You know what I mean? But I'm not object to people trying to earn on here. What I object to is that people have too many opinions and are up their own arse. And to be fair, right, just keep your nose out of people's business like that, because there's nothing to worry about, you know. But as I say, some things are a little more worrying for me at the minute, really, you know. So when I get idiots having a go at me, just think, you know, life could be hard, and just ignore it. It really is just as simple as that. Just try and not let it affect you, you know. I don't drink anymore because it ruined my life a bit, you know. So I understand that with people. I don't drink anymore, but I'm an alcoholic, you know. I just stopped drinking because I'd split up with my boyfriend, I'd fight with him and everything. I'm not an angel, you know. But I can tell you this, alcohol causes so many grievances in people's lives. And the last month, it's happened to two. I mean, Lauren really, it's just, she was texting shite on the phone. Probably because she had too many drinks. But I draw the line where it upsets creature. I'll be honest, I didn't like true crime when they started trying to come into air for him. I really see me ass then. I really see me ass, because I knew how she looked upon her. You know, you can sense some things in people, and it's like, you just don't say it. But then I did sort of crack up, because this is a disturbing case. Poor children have been taken, and there's this bitch, you know. But I'll leave it all nameless. But then you hear like silly things about Nathan Adams. I loved Nathan Adams. But the first thing he said to me when I spoke to him once, I went, I won't go on Reddit. And he goes, why? Do you cause too much trouble? What have you done over there? That's the first thing he said to me. I said, I speak only the truth. You know, I don't go on my phone, start texting people when I've had a drink. I just don't start doing deprived things, you know. And to hear that he actually is into sort of like talking to, I don't want to think that he is. And you know what I mean? I don't want to think anyone's a bad person. So when I point it out, it really hurts, you know, because like, when you admire something, it's really hard, isn't it? But in a way, I'd stopped watching him because it was getting too far. It was getting too rubbish. The whole series was just on, like, it didn't have a direction, you know. I'm trying to give it direction in the human case. But he seems to forget, like, human, you know what I mean, is responsible for a lot more. So please just try and stick to the elements of what is MOR and things like that. But it was getting out of character. It was getting like, I couldn't, 1 minute he was talking, I just didn't know what to believe. Do you know what I mean? Which is hard. It's hard. Because I was watching his programmes, you know, and which just took them all down, which is awful, because that won't earn him any money now. This was between 8 and 9 a.m. Laurie informed Warwick and Gibb that JJ had been acting like a zombie and had been crawling on the kitchen and all that, right? The FBI cast team has been analysed, and Alex's movements, the morning of September 23rd, 2019, by his cell phone GPS. At 9:55 a.m, Alex is again on Chad Daybell's property. He was there until 10:12 a.m. The pings on his phone locate Alex near the pond on Chad's property at the northern edge of the property. On June 3rd, 2020, I asked Special Agent Ricky Wright of the FBI to analyse the frequency of Alex Cox's visits to Chad Daybell's property during the month of September of 2019. His response was, wow, okay. Per your request, I checked the visits by Alex Cox to Chad Daybell's house again. There were only 4 visits by Alex during the month of September. These were on the 6th of the 9th, 6th of September, 12:41 to 12:53, and 9:23 and 9:25 at 10:05 a.m. to 10:22 a.m. During the visits on the 6th of September and the 25th of September, all the pings were in the and around the house. There were no pings anywhere in the backyard, near the fire pit or the pond. As you can see, these visits were also short and about 10 minutes and 17 minutes, like one on the 23rd of September, 17 minutes. The visit on the 9/9 was only a long visit, was approximately 2.5 hours with Tyler there. On the 9th of June 2020, the search warrant was executed on Chad Daybell's residence and property. With the assistance of local FBI and ERT team, we located at least sites of interest. These sites were identified and corresponded with the cellular data of Alex Cox's phone when he was on the property, mentioned in paragraphs 12 to 16. Additionally, one of the possible sightings correlated to the location on the property Chad and had texted his wife about, mentioned in paragraphs 17 to 18. 31. The first site of interest was located on the north side of the pond near the north edge of the property. This site corresponded with the 2 GPS pings from Alex Cox's phone on September 23rd of 2019. A patch of ground was located that appeared to be disturbed. The weed growth on the top of the disturbed ground was shorter than the surrounding weed growth. What appeared to be a sod etching was also noticed. The disturbed area was approximately 4 feet by 2.5 feet. Cat, you're scaring the life out of me. Where are you? Making noises. She keeps lying right in the middle of the carpet. Went flying over before. Luna, you come and say hello? Luna. Let's see if she comes. The rocks were removed and gone. Yeah, we're talking about the plot where JJ Underneath the layer of sod were several dark, flat rocks. These are the flat rocks I'm talking about. The rocks were removed and 2 pieces of flat panelling were found. The panelling was removed and investigators exposed a round object covered in a plastic bag. Black plastic. Sorry. Just get this in the same place. It gets a bit disturbing now. So just if you come back in another time when you're feeling that you can put it to, but it is quite upsetting the next bit. Upon exposing the round object, covered in black plastic, a strong odour was noticed. The FBI and the ERT member used a small sharp instrument and made a small incision in the plastic, and a layer of plastic bag was observed. White plastic was observed, so they put two bags over his head. As an incision was made into the white layer of plastic, exposing what appeared to be human remains, the crown of a head covered in light brown hair. 34. The remaining dirt around this object was methodically removed, exposing what appeared to be a body wrapped in plastic. The plastic appeared to be tightly wrapped around the body and secured with grey duct tape. Cheryl Anderson, Association Professor of Anthropology at Boise State University, was present on scene and advised that the remains were found near the pond and appeared to be human. The second site of interest was located behind the red, unattached outbuilding located roughly in the centre of the property near the fire pit. Next to the fire pit, it is an area used as a pet cemetery. This site correlated to several GPS pings of Alec Cox's phone on September 9th of 2019. 37. Ground in this area was probed with a steel pole, and several areas of disturbed ground were located. During a search of this ground, a buried cat and dog remains were found. A black hoe was used to dig further layers of dirt. While doing so, bricks were located approximately a foot below the ground. Once the bricks were discovered, the soil was examined and what appeared to be 2 bones were located. Based on the condition of the bones, Cheryl Anderson was not able to determine whether the bones were human. Methodically, the dirt in this area was searched and several other items of interest were found, including another bone, charred tissue and charred bones. Cheryl Anderson indicated these additional bones, both charred and uncharred, where the tissues found were human remains. 40. Investigators provided photos of some of the partial remains that were found at the pet cemetery. Forensic anthropologist Dr. Getz was able to identify those remains as non-being of non-adult remains. Non-adult human remains. While officers were conducting the search, Chad Daybell was observed by officers to be continuously watching where the officers were searching. He was observed watching the officers while sitting in his vehicle in front of the driveway, and while sitting in his vehicle across the street at his daughter's residence. Around the time the head mentioned, paragraphs 20, 32 and 33 was discovered that Chad Daybell was observed leaving his daughter's residence in grey SUV. I and other officers pursued him in police vehicles, conducted a traffic stop and detained him due to the fact that human remains were discovered at the property. The favour is dated on the 10th day of June 2020. And then this is one from another detective. Ron Ball. Detective Ron Ball of Rexburg Police Department, being first duly sworn under oath, deposed, and the state as follows. 1. Information contained herein is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. Oh, got me rest. My daughter's dressing up as puppies are Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, looks cool. That's where she is right now, out partying. So I thought, you know what, do something different and constructive, because I haven't read this before, Chad Daybell's affidavits and the probable cause, you know. I still am thinking why, you know, still. And sometimes you just don't get the answers, do you know. But yeah, I don't know or understand the community of crime, and I think sometimes I do the wrong things. Like, I put me stuff up, I do the, wrong place, like with the Coburg thing at first. I completely thought it was possible innocent. And then I seen how clean that Hoover was, I thought, no chance. You know? And then, like, the blood in his car, he missed a bit on the gear stick. He actually separated every orifice of that car and cleaned it. And there's people out there, like, slating, like, the victims' families, saying they're covering up stuff, and even when, they're saying themselves, they still haven't got answers to things, they still feel lost, and it's hard to listen to that, and I hate that type of rhetoric, so I sort of stick up for it when I can see it, but I don't mean to offend, it's just more like, do something fucking else, Is that all you can go on about all day, is the same case? There's loads of cases out there. Like, this one's come to highlight now because of what's happened recently with another case. So I thought to myself, I've never discovered about the car, the timings, and it's making a lot more sense now. I've watched the, because it was like we seen Chad Daybell's, but we listened to Laurie Vallow's. It was audio, Laurie Vallow's case, and it's cost a lot of lives. It's destroyed a lot of lives, this case, and then you've got, like, the snooty attitudes of certain members. And I thought, you know what? I really admire the strength of Creature not rising to her, and respect her as a creator, because sometimes you just really want to let loose and give a shit, give loads back, but not worth at the end of the day. It's just going to make you look like you're bothered more, and so don't show it, yeah, it's the best way, I'm still learning. I still like make mistakes. Like, I had someone doing this with me, and he unsubscribed to lots of people, and it looked like I myself, because I subscribe to a lot of people, actually, even people I follow sometimes, and that's me. I'm not scared to have competition, or other people do a certain case. Like, I hope people who do the Daybell case don't mind me doing this, I feel a bit wrong if I did Charles, and stuff like that. So it feels like their family are doing that, and I don't know if they'd mind me doing this, to be honest. But I'm just reading this out for a fact, to get it on my system. It's in my head. I've just got to do it, I'm detective of Rexburg Police Department, and I have been employed in the law enforcement for 27 years. I am currently lieutenant over investigations of Rexburg Police Department. I have attended multiple training classes from the FBI National Academy in 2015. Okay. On the afternoon of November 25th in 2019, Rexburg Police Department, hereinafter RPD, that's what we'll be calling them, okay, was contacted by the Gilbert, Arizona Police Department about a missing child, hereinafter designated as JV, as Joshua Vallow. Date of birth, 25th of May of 2012. JV is a 7-year-old boy with autism who was supposed to be living with his adopted mother, Laurie Noreen Vallow, aka Laurie Noreen Daybell, hereinafter Laurie Vallow or Laurie. JV's mother, grandmother Jay Woodcock, had contacted the Gilbert Police Department about JV for a welfare check. So that was on November 25th. Laurie Vallow also has a daughter called Tylee Ryan. Date of birth, 24th of September. As described further in this affidavit, while RPD was investigating the disappearance of JV, the investigation grew to include a special search for Tylee Ryan, who is also missing and not been seen since September 8th of 2019. I am aware that Laurie Vallow moved to Rexburg with JV near the first week of September in 2019. I am aware that JV was enrolled for 4 weeks in Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg, Idaho. I am further aware that he was seen by neighbors near his apartment in Rexburg. Through the investigation, RPD has learned that the last day JV was seen alive was on September 23rd of 2019 at Kennedy Elementary School. On September 24th of 2019, Laurie Vallow informed the school that JV would no longer be attending Kennedy Elementary and that Laurie would homeschool him. Kennedy Elementary has informed RPD that no other school has made requests for JV school transcripts. Excuse me a second. Just need the lid. Hope you're all well. I'm sorry it's so long, and I'm grateful that you're interested in it if you're reading it with me. I always, this one case I really get really upset over. She could have just given her kids to her grandparents. People would have supported this lady. What was this about? Was this a sacrifice? Was it something? I mean, there's something quite odd about it, and it feels like they're hiding a lot of this. And I would really love to hear the full story, because it really needs to be told, and I don't think it should be told by Chad. So really pleasing with Laurie to give what happened that day, who was there that day, you know. What was your mind thinking, you know? I don't know if Tylee was sedated or, you know, it's just shocking. And, you know, there was a rumour about Laurie Vallow's son being for ass abuse to a woman as well. Like, I mean, I heard that recently. I was a bit shocked, like, but yeah, it's true. And what do people make of that? I mean, he has like 60,000 followers, and he's done something like that to another woman, and he's preaching on his channel. I just think to myself, wow, you're such an entitled arsehole. But people love him, you know. So I'm sorry if you do and you can't take like other people's criticism. You best not be here. You know, it's not a problem. You're entitled to your feelings, and you're entitled to watch as well. I'm not gonna, you know, be unkind and not let you. If you were on my screen and you said hello, I'd say hello back. I'm not rude. I'm a normal human being. I haven't got superpowers. This is it with people on YouTube. It's like they get to a certain point. Some people just get absolutely carried away with it, you know. I hope if ever I doubt it comes to it and my thing kicks off and I have a good regular audience, that like it goes to that point. I mean, I can't even like get angry on like the behalf of other people, like other victims. I really do. Then I turn into something else. I mean, I do take it really, because what do you do this for? You've got to ask yourself, what do you do it for? You know. I don't get anything from this. I don't have adverts either. So you can always feel that like you're getting a relaxed situation, you know. It's not going to be like, I don't mind. I just want an audience, really. That's it. I want a society where we can all chip in together with our information and make a good community of detectives, you know. And sometimes I think the police force is so busy they can't do certain things as well. I would love to be sort of a useful person, you know what I mean? Because I am very useful. I've been told. Okay. Shit reader, I know that. I was familiar with Laurie Vallow because the RPD had previously seen and contacted by Gilbert and Arizona and Chandler, Arizona Police Departments, who requested help to obtain search warrants for the vehicle in Laurie's possession. Said vehicle was related to a possible attempted murder of Laurie's niece, ex-husband Brandon Boudreaux, in Arizona. So obvious, isn't it? So, to me, I remember that the vehicle was possibly Tylee's vehicle, right? So she was driving around in Tylee's vehicle. She had possession of it. So she had possession of it when? On the 1st of November, yeah? I'm aware that Detective Ray I'm going to say this right one day, Hamasilio, had also performed an intended you know what I mean anyway, surveillance on Laurie Vallow as a request of Gilbert Police Department starting in November 1st of 2019. Detective Harmasillo reports that he never once saw JV when he was performing surveillance during the month of November in 2019. The vehicle mentioned in paragraph 6 of this affidavit is a 2018 grey Jeep Wrangler bearing Texas plates. Said vehicle registered to Charles Vallow, who is deceased husband of Laurie Vallow. Laurie Vallow and Charles Vallow were in at the process of getting divorced. When Charles Vallow died, the Gilbert Police Department was interested in this vehicle. things on a toaster. I'll put difficult researchers like tag in the description, and other channels and media that I try and put the videos up I watch, in my playlists all the time. Look at my playlists. I also have an astronomy playlist as well, because I like all science. I love everything, I'm like a sponge. I like absorbing all kinds on YouTube. So look at my playlists and you'll find that most things that I've watched or that I thought would be useful for us as a group are on them playlists. All different types of videos, not just mine. Laurie Vallow and Charles Vallow were in the process of divorce. Read that. The vehicle identified because it had been identified in an attempted shooting of Brandon Boudreaux in Gilbert, Arizona in October 2nd of 2019. Brandon had previously been married to Laurie Vallow's niece, Melanie Boudreaux. Poor Brandon. At the time of his attempted shooting, Brandon witnessed the Jeep, which he recognised as being the same vehicle that TR regularly drove. Brandon observed the rifle with the silencer coming out of the rear window of the Jeep. And then Brandon's car was shot once in the front driver door frame. As Brandon drove away, the Jeep followed, but eventually turned a different direction. This same Jeep, observed by Brandon, was seized pursuant to a search warrant in November of 2019 in Rexburg, Idaho. It is significant that the vehicle TR reportedly regularly drove was still in Rexburg nearly 2 months after last known sighting of Tylee Ryan, and it was in her brother's care, and he did not. I am aware, though, contact with the Gilbert and Chandler Police Department that Laurie's husband, Charles Vallow, was shot in July 11th, 2019 by Laurie's brother, Alex Cox. Laurie Vallow is now married to Chad Daybell from Vermont County, Idaho. Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, died in Vermont County, Idaho in October 19th of 2019. I was informed that Chad and Laurie married approximately 2 weeks after the death of Tammy Daybell. I later confirmed where they married in November 5th, 2019 on the island of Kauai in Hawaii. Through our investigations, the RPD discovered photographs of their wedding on a beach in Hawaii. Neither JV or Tylee Ryan are seen in these photographs. So they've done what they've done and just went off and got married, While everybody's like grieving, he's like, yay, partying. Loser. On November 26th of 2019, Detective Homicilio and Detective Hope from the RPD went to Laurie's home, located, and contact a welfare check. Detective Homicilio and Hope met with Laurie's brother Alex Cox and Chad Daybell outside the residence. Chad acted as if he didn't know Laurie, very well and stated he didn't know her number. Alex told the detective that JV was with his grandma, Kay Woodcock, in Louisiana, which was not likely to be true due to the fact that Kay was the individual who first contacted the missing children report in Gilbert Police Department. Alex said Laurie may be in apartments 107. Hermosillo and Hope went to apartment 107, but the apartment was completely empty and vacant. At this time they called me and asked me to come to the premises to help search for JV. Oh, that's what he told them. Shortly after calling me, Detective Hermosillo called me again and indicated that he saw Chad Daybell driving a black Chevrolet Equinox away from the residence. Okay, so they observed him leaving his car. Detective Hermosillo stopped Chad and asked him again if he had seen JV. Chad responded that the last time he seen JV was in apartment 107 in October. He also admitted he knew Laurie Vallow's phone number and provided it to Detective Hermosillo. So he doubled down on him, you know. On that same day, myself and Detective Stubbs of the RPD located and spoke to Laurie Vallow in her apartment 175. We identified ourselves as RPD officers. Laurie told us that JV was in Gilbert, Arizona, with a friend named Melanie Gibb. We obtained Melanie's phone number from Laurie. We ended our contact with Laurie and immediately attempted to call Melanie Gibb. We were unable to contact her. What a surprise. See, this is it with Melanie Gibb as well. She must have knew. She's fooling around. Because Detective Stubbs and I were unable to contact Melanie Gibb, we were immediately contacted Laurie Vallow again, and we requested that she call Melanie Gibb. At that time, Laurie told us that Melanie and JV were at the movie Frozen 2, so it was unlikely Melanie would answer the phone. We instructed Laurie to call Melanie Gibb and have her call us so we could verify the location of JV. Such a sad thing. How could you lie about that? By the evening of November 26th of 2019, we had still not heard from Melanie Gibb, so RPD informed Detective Ryan Pillar of Gilbert Police Department of the information we had received regarding the children being with Melanie Gibb. I was informed later that evening at 9:30 p.m. that Gilbert Police went to the home of Melanie Gibb. Melanie was not home, but Detective Pillar contacted her by phone and she stated that JV was not staying at her Arizona home and had not been there for several months. 15. On December 6th of 2019, RPD was contacted by Melanie Gibb and informed that both Chad and Daybell and Laurie Vallow called Melanie on November 26th at 2019 at separate times and asked her to tell the police that she had JV, even though JV was not with her. Melanie informed RPD that she declined Chad's and Laurie's requests. This further establishes that the statement made to law enforcement by Laurie Vallow on November 26 was false, and that Laurie Vallow knew it was false. So she called them separate times. So these calls were like put together to like. This further establishes the statement made to law enforcement by Laurie on the November 26th was false, and that Laurie Vallow knew it was false. The statement of Laurie made to the RPD about JV being with Melanie Gibb delayed the investigation into whereabouts of the safety of JV by requiring us to take time to investigate a lead that was verified as false. On November 27th, 2019, you think they'd take it more seriously, wouldn't you? I mean, this is 2 days after. RPD obtained a search warrant to search 1. Laurie Vallow's apartments located Melanie Budrow's apartments and Alex Cox's apartments and items in the garage. Right? They hadn't got round to Chad yet. All 3 apartments are part of the same complex. JV was not located at any of the residents. It appeared to me that most of the clothing of Laurie Vallow's apartments had been removed. Other furniture was still inside the residence. RPD believed that she left Rexburg with Chad Daybell the night of November 26 of 2018. Melanie Budrow later confirmed that Chad and Laurie did leave Rexburg at the night of the 26th. During the search of Laurie Vallow's apartment, we found evidence that JV was prescribed Risperidone. Okay. Is a prescription and atypical antipsychotic medication used to treat certain mental health conditions. It works by balance levels of dopamine and serotonin to the brain, helping regulate mood and thoughts and behavior. Medical uses: schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, autism-associated irritability, and aggression in dementia. Oh no, I can't. Oh, I know you were in there, you silly girl. Do you know what? Why don't you go upstairs out the way, cat? Oh, come and sit by us. Come on, come here. You're sleepy. I'm sorry. I didn't see you there, you bloody loon. I'm sorry, honey. I always feel bad. I keep kicking her in the way. I should keep getting in my way, you know. I have learned through research risperidone is a tranquilizer prescribed to treat irritability caused by autism. This was for the boy, you know, for JJ, I think. To treat irritability caused by autism. That prescription was filled for JV in January. Jesus. Poor boy. On November, so he had no risperidone to calm him or to help him down, you know. On November 27th, 2019, RPD also served search warrants of Lorry Vallow's storage unit. Located Self-Storage Plus in Rexburg, Idaho. Inside the storage units we found a blanket with pictures of JV on it. Oh, a blanket with pictures of TI on it. Backpack with JV's initials on it. Oh God. Toys and appeared to be appropriate for his age, winter clothes and other children's stuff, and photo album. RPD. Sounds like she had some kind of breakdown. I'm not excusing anything she did, but you just see it and you think to yourself, what the fuck? What the fudge is happening? RPD was further made aware that the credit card Lorry Valley provided to Self-Storage Plus was declined on January 2nd of 2020. Okay. The owner of the Self-Storage Plus has reported to law enforcement that the regular operating procedure he has reached out to Lorry Vallow by phone, text and email, but has not heard back from her. At this time, Lorry has not attempted to provide another debit card or self-storage. Soon after we executed a search warrant to find JV at the apartments of Rexburg, Gilbert Police asked us if we had any record of TR. Being in Rexburg, TR is Lorry Vallow's biological daughter, to a marriage to Joseph Ryan, who is deceased. No surprise. TR has a brother called Colby Ryan. I am aware that Gilbert Police Department has been in contact with Colby. Colby reports that the last time he spoke with TR was on August 30th by FaceTime. He informed Gilbert Police that when he tried to contact TR on August 30th of 2019, Lorry would give excuses as to why TR could not talk to him. Through investigations, RPD have informed that TR moved to Rexburg with Lorry on September 1st or September 2nd of 2019. We have been informed that Lorry told Melanie Gibb that TR was attending classes in the BUI in Idaho. However, the record checks the BYUI 1 indicates that TR was never enrolled in the BYU Idaho or any other schools affiliated with the BYU. She lost control of herself. The RPD verified Lorry Vallow moved into an apartment located. This information was corroborated by Lorry Vallow's neighbours who lived in the same complex in the next door apartments. Oh, okay. they lived next to her, but must have had another neighbour who played with JJ and stuff. They saw TR at or around the residence when she moved in with Laurie. These same neighbours actually helped Laurie move into her apartments. They saw TR briefly at a couple of times after she moved in, but have not seen her since the first couple of weeks of September. Her son played with JV multiple times. These neighbours have further informed us, through Detective Stubbs of the RPD, that one of their children went to Laurie's apartment sometime in late September to play with JV, and the child was informed by Laurie Vallow that JV was not there and that he had gone to stay with his grandma. Another neighbour of Vallow's, who lived directly across the courtyard from Laurie Pioneer, her doorbell recorded JV outside the apartment playing on the 17th of September. Okay. So it seems around the time that they were there that happened. You know, David Warwick and Melanie Gibb were there. You know, to me. Throughout the investigation, we are unable to determine through phone records that TR accompanied Laurie Vallow and Alex Cox and JV on a day trip to the Yellowstone in September 8th of 2019. We have obtained photograph of TR in the park entrance through the National Park Service. Also, through service of the search warrant of RPD, has pertained a photo of Laurie Vallow's iCloud account of TR in Yellowstone National Park at that time is time-stamped on September 8th of 2019. This photo is the last time we can find any record of Tylee being with Laurie Vallow. We have found no witness who can verify they have seen TR since September 8th of 2019. RPD have verified that Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow flew from Los Angeles, California airport to KUI America Airlines on December 1st of 2019. This information was obtained through search warrant served on American Airlines. RPD cannot find any information suggesting they returned to the mainland of the United States since that time. So they found out they were in Hawaii by that point. And it appears they have been in Hawaii since they've arrived in December of 2019. Those same records establish that JV and TR were not with their mother, Laurie Vallow, when they flew to KUI. 28. I am aware that Chad and Laurie are currently living in Princeville in Hawaii. I'm in contact with the police in Hawaii who are monitoring the condo in which Chad and Laurie are staying. The children have not been sighted with Chad or Laurie. Further, I am aware that on multiple occasions Chad and Laurie checked into the KUI Beach Resort and that no children checked in with them there either. That information was provided by an employee of the resort. Detective Chad Cataluna of the KUI Police Department had performed surveillance on Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow in KUI. He has informed us that he has seen Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell at least 3 times since he was made aware that Chad and Laurie were residing in KUI. Detective Cataluna has informed us that not once has he seen Joshua or Tylee with Chad or Laurie. JJ and Tylee. On December 20th of 2019, Rexburg Police and FBI published a press release announcing that JV and TR were missing. That RPD was looking for them and asking the public to help in their location. Since December 20th, 2009, this case has received national media attention. Laurie Vallow has refused to provide law enforcement with any information regarding the location of children of TR and JV. It's a lot to read. It's a lot to read today. Through this investigation, RPD has learned that Laurie Vallow used the website www.care.com to provide babysitters for JV. Through service of the search warrant on care.com, we are able to verify and identify of the babysitter who Laurie Vallow hired to watch JV. We contacted this babysitter and she informed us that she watched JV on the 19th of September. She had met Laurie Vallow and JV the day before, September 18th. The babysitter understood that her employment was to be ongoing. The babysitter reports that on September 24th, she reached out to Laurie, and Laurie told her that JV had to stay with his grandma for several weeks, and that the babysitter service were no longer available. On January 16, 2020, a child protection action was filed by the state of Idaho in Madison County on behalf of JV and TR. The case number of this and the court order Laurie Vallow to produce JV and Tyler Ryan within 5 days of the service order to the Rexburg Police Department or Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Rexburg. Laurie Vallow was served that order on Saturday, January 25th, 2020 by Detective Chad Cataluna of Kiowa Police Department. Laurie did not produce the children within 5 days, being served, and has not produced the children to this date. Stop flicking your fleas. It's a lot, isn't it? Other than any current orders in the pending children protection action in Madison County, Idaho, RPD has not found any court record or order establishing guardianship or parentage of TR with anyone other than Laurie Vallow. So she's the sole custody of her. There is a final decree of adoption from the 14th Judicial District Court Parish of Kalasui, state of Louisiana, established by Charles and Laurie Vallow for, adopting Joshua as the adopted parents of Joshua Vallow, dated 25th of July 2014. So she looked after him for 5 years, from 2. As such, the only known living parent of JV and TR is Laurie Vallow. On the days between January 24th, 2020 and January 29th of 2020, I was in Hawaii with Detective Homicilio and Kiowa Police Department. I reviewed the video of Laurie Vallow being served with the order in the child protection case, which was filmed by Kiowa Police Department. Okay, see, he tried to interview her, I see. JV and TR were not seen in the video. While we were there, 2 FBI agents, Rory Johnson and Douglas McLand, assisted us with performing surveillance on Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow. On the morning of January 26, 2020, they observed Chad and Laurie on the beach. JV and TR were not there. During the afternoon on January 26th of 2020, I observed QI Police Department serve search warrants on the persons of Chad and Laurie Vallow. Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow, and on a black Ford Explorer they had rented, said warrants were served on them in the car parking lot of the Kauai Beach Resort. JV and TR were not with Laurie Vallow or Chad Daybell. The following items were located in possession: the birth certificates of Tylee Ryan and Joshua Vallow, TR's financial transaction card issued by BBVA, JV's iPad identified by his initials on the back, another iPad which was logged into JV's Apple account, JV's school registration receipts from Kennedy Elementary School in Rexburg. Through our investigations, RPD learned that TR's financial transactions card was found with Laurie Vallow, is still active and has been used since the sighting of Tylee. See, she was sending Cody money of Tylee's, and he was thinking it was Tylee and it was his mother. It was proved by Annie, so he wants to say otherwise, that's up to him, but he never questioned it. Took the car as well. On January 26th, I don't care, I really don't. I'm just sick of this fake pretentious group going around just making up stuff, and yeah. On January 26th of 2020, after the search warrants were served on the persons and vehicle Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow, a search warrant was served on the condominium located where they were in Hawaii. I personally observed QI police perform the search in the garage of the condominium. Freaking had loads of places to go, didn't he? There were 2 beach lawn chairs, 2 yoga fitness mats, and 2 beach towels. There were no items in the garage that appeared to belong to a minor. There was nothing found in the condominium that appeared to belong to Tylee or Joshua. Further, there was nothing found in the condominium that would indicate that 7-year-old boy had been there at all, such as toys, clothes, children's books, children's medication, etc. There was a second room other than the master bedroom in the condominium. That second room had no signs of being lived in. Through this investigation, RPD discovered that Joshua Vallow had a service dog. This breaks my heart. For his autism. This dog was named Bailey, and he was a dog trained by Elite AZ. On July 22nd, she sent Dog Training Elite AZ an email asking about finding a family for Bailey due to a change in life circumstances. She'd do that to the dog, but she wouldn't even do that to her own children. It just doesn't make sense. Poor Joshua. Bailey, due to a change of circumstances, Dog Training Elite AZ picked up the dog on the 30th of August of 2019. Through this investigation, I interviewed Chad Daybell's parents, Jack and Sheila Daybell, in Springville, Utah. They informed me that Chad and Laurie told them in November that Laurie Vallow was an empty nester. So she had no kids anymore. She told her that in November. Through this investigation, RPD has interviewed Jason and Samantha William. Samantha William is the sister of deceased Tammy Daybell. Jason and Samantha informed RPD that Chad told them that Laurie had no juvenile children. Wow. Just going to heat my coffee up. It's sick, isn't it? You know, it's sick to deny your own children, never let alone what she did. Well, back today, guys. I really am. I'm going to try and finish this for us, and yeah, got bedtime. On February 16th of 2022, sorry, I'm going right up the camera there. RPD received a tip from the named individual in Hawaii. Is that beautiful place in Hawaii? Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow were renting a car from Hertz Car Rental in Maui Airport. The informant provided a picture of Chad and Laurie, and JV and TR were not with Chad or Laurie in the picture. Throughout this investigation, RPD and the FBI have reviewed Laurie Vallow's bank accounts and financial information. No information has been found which should suggest Laurie Vallow is providing money to anyone to care for JV or TR. RPD found no evidence of verification of anyone providing for housing, food, clothing, education or medical care of JV. September 24th of 2009, TR since September 8th of 2019. 45. As of the date of this affidavit, JV and TR are still missing due to A. Laurie Vallow is a legal parent and guardian of TR and JV. B. Nobody has seen or verifiably heard from TR since September 8th of 2019. C. Nobody has seen or heard from JR since September 23rd of 2019. Laurie Vallow has verifiably been living on an island in Kauai, Hawaii since the beginning of December of 2019. That should be yeah, that's right. With her new husband, Chad Daybell. And that not once have they been seen with JV or TR. Okay. I found out a lot more, than I realised, really. It's a piece that puzzles what the court, put out. The condominium currently occupied by Chad Daybell and Laurie Vallow contains no evidence that any persons other than Chad and Laurie is living there. F. That medication prescribed to JJ has not been refilled in the state of Idaho at a time when JV was verifiably with Laurie Vallow. TR's financial transactions card was in the possession of Laurie Vallow, even though TR is not with Laurie Vallow. H. Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell have represented to Chad's family that Laurie has no juvenile children. I. Laurie Vallow claimed that she was going to homeschool JV, but she is not with JV and no other educational facility has requested JV school records. No verification of another caregiver for JV or TR has been found, and K, that as of January 30th, 2020, Laurie Vallow failed to comply with the court order to produce minor children to the Rexburg, Idaho Police Department or the Idaho Department of Health and Care and Welfare within the 5 days of being served, with an order to do so. I believe cause exists that Laurie Vallow has deserted TR and GR pursuant to Idaho, which states that it shall be a felony for everyone who, having any child under the age of 18 years dependent upon him or her for care, educational or support, deserts such child in a manner whatsoever, with intent to abandon it. I further believe probable cause exists that Laurie Vallow intentionally and willfully abandoned JV and TR pursuant to Idaho laws. So I think she abandoned him to Alex and them to deal with it, you know, rather than Vallow get her hands dirty. The fact that Laurie Vallow provided verifiable false information to the RPD by telling RPD that JV was located in Arizona with Melanie Gibb. That said false information obstructed and delayed the investigation into location of JV by requiring RPD to investigate a false lead. And C, that fact that Laurie Vallow solicited Melanie Gibb to corroborate a false information on behalf of Laurie gave to the RPD. So there you go. She did lie for her. I believe probable cause exists that Laurie Vallow did resist, delay, or obstruct a public officer in the discharge or attempt to discharge a duty of his office, specifically investigating a report of a missing child pursuant to Idaho Code 48, due to A, the fact that Laurie Vallow did not solicit or request Melanie Gibb to provide false information to RPD regarding the location of JV, which would have further obstructed and delayed RPD investigation. I believe the cause exists that Laurie Vallow did commit the crime of solicitation and commit a crime pursuant to Idaho Code 49, due to A, fact that Laurie Vallow did refuse to obey the lawful order from the court in case of number, and it gives the number there, by failing to produce JV and TR to the RPD or to Idaho Department of Health and Welfare in Rexburg, January 30th of 2020. I believe probable cause exists that Laurie Vallow did violate Idaho Code. Just get me coffee a minute. We're on the last page now, guys. Yay! It's very detailed and I really admire how we put it together. Rightio. Due to the following facts, I believe that Laurie Vallow is a flight risk. So they didn't give a bail, thank goodness. Within the day of when we met Laurie Vallow on November 26th of 2019 to ask about whereabouts of the children, Laurie Vallow had left the state and was in Hawaii within a week. B. The charges being filed against Laurie Vallow were serious. Two of the charges are felony abandonment of a child, which carries up to 14 years in prison. Laurie Vallow has no significant ties to Madison County. She no longer has a home here, and she has abandoned a significant amount of property here. Laurie Vallow has already displayed a willingness to disobey and ignore the court order by not producing GV and TR in Rexburg, even though she was specifically ordered by the court to do so and had adequate time to do so. Laurie Vallow and Chad Daybell have significant financial resources. Wow, I am aware that Chad Daybell received at least £430,000 in insurance proceeds upon the death of Tammy. So I can imagine Emma got that, Yeah, snake, isn't she? As such, Laurie and Chad have resources sufficient to help them travel and hide from the law enforcement and the court. Based upon the above, I hereby request a warrant to be issued for the arrest of Laurie Vallow, aka Laurie Daybell, for A. 2 felony counts of desertion and non-support of children of Idaho Code. B. Misdemeanor, sounds really mediocre when you say it like that, count of resisting and obstructing of officers. 1 misdemeanor count of criminal solicitation. 1 misdemeanor count of criminal contempt. And it's signed 52. I respectfully request, based upon the above, that the bond be set at a matter of the amount of $5 million to secure Laurie Vallow appearance in court in Madison County, Idaho. And that was on 20th of February. I find that the time it took them to arrest Chad Daybell too long, and I'm sitting there and watching them doing all that. I found it pretty creepy, I just don't think that the man will ever confess to what he's done. He just will never do it, and neither will Laurie. And it's so, she loves to talk to the camera. She likes to talk. I don't understand why she just can't admit that she did something really horrific, and she's paying the ultimate price, which is sad to see, really, all round, because children are precious, and you just can't imagine what they went through. I don't know if I'll look into what's going on with the end of this now, with everything, and the Boudreaux, has that been dealt with yet? And I just wanted to catch up on this, really, and read up about some of the stuff there, and there is a lot to read, so if there's anything interesting, I'll pop back up with it. And thanks for listening. I know it's been a long video. You've been great. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.